Thank you so much for committing your lives. So many of you have sent messages and you have commented and you have said that, you know what, we are running our races. We might not be with you in the room, but we are getting this information. We are going out there. We are touching lives. We are expanding and we are doing everything that we are supposed to do as world changers and people. So we have a huge community of world changers out there. We have a huge community of people helpers out there. And so as we share in this message, I hope that you are able to run and not grow weary. All right? I wanted us to read something. Let me just get it very shortly before we can go ahead. That is 1 Samuel 17. 1 Samuel 17.
Now the Philistines gathered their forces for war and assembled at Soko in Judah.
Are we there? Yes.
They pitched camp at Ephes Damim, between Soko and Azekah. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped in the valley of Elah and drew up their battle line to meet the Philistines. The Philistines occupied one hill and the Israelites another, with the valley between them. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor of bronze, weighing 5,000 shekels. On his legs he wore bronze greaves, and a bronze javelin was slung on his back. His spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels. His shield bearer went ahead of him. Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why do you come out and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine? And are you not the servants of Saul?"
Okay.
Choose.
I just I wanted us to read until the stipulations of his measurements and all that. That is around 7, and we will go through it later because I want to refer to it much later. But I wanted us to know that that is the main text that we are reading. For those of you that are wondering, this is a prayer journal by Joy. Yours truly, Joy. How many of us know, you know Joy? So I've been doing quite some work within this prayer journal, and actually as I perceived or even understood the message that we're going to share today, I was in my prayer chamber, and so I wrote a few things that I didn't want to miss from this prayer journal. It helps you track, guys. I mean, it helps you track your gratefulness, what you are grateful about, what you're praying for that day, what you are sorry, what your adoration and all that. It's so beautiful. It was a gift. I didn't buy it. It was gifted to me. So get yourself one, and I know that it will be quite helpful. Okay, so what we are going to talk about is your gift is for the people out there. All right, for the marketplace. I know so many times we have had people talk about the marketplace, but we have not understood what the marketplace is. Some of us think the marketplace is actually the real market. Huh? Yeah, we understand the marketplace, the streets, okay, where people are, where business is happening, where normal things, normal people are actually living, because that is where problems are. Now, some of us are cocooning our circles too. Some of you are in mosques, some of you are in churches, some of you are in, like, you have those cocoons and centers. You have cocooned yourself because they are familiar, because you think that you'll be accepted there. But do you know that the people that know you most are the people that actually disown you the most? Yes. Like a prophet has no honor in their own town. So that means, because those are the people that are going to belittle you. You remember the message that I say that I said, you know, some of us are not creating content because the people that we know are either going to bash us or are going. And I was like, you know what? Number one, block. Number two, if you are strong enough, let them watch you build your empire. And then someone actually commented and said that, I'm going to make them watch me build my empire. One day, they are also going to be my clients. Of course, that person got a bit of a backlash from a different group, a business group, where I actually posted that. Because some people are saying that, you know what, if you're a business person, you shouldn't sell anything that, that is out of the will of God. So this person was like, so what is out of the will of God? Because this person was selling those, you know, those, what are they called? Us old people, we call them combinés. The one that look alikes but with shorts, that women put on. Maybe it's like a lounge suit, yeah, the two pieces. And this person was saying, but if you sell those things and people go and do bad things, their blood is on your hands. Why are you getting all up in arms and wanting to fight me? I am not the one who commented. It's someone else that commented. But that's when I got to understand that, by the way, there is a huge work that must be done. We are not fighting internally. Our fight must be taken out to the fields. It must be taken out to the streets, because that is where it is needed. And in my devotion, I wrote and said that your creation is not coincidence. You arrived at the exact planned time. You are not a random placement on earth. That, you know what, we wanted people to fill the earth, so we created whatsoever number of people to fill the earth. No. You could have been born 60 years ago, or you could have been born 50 years to come, but you were born in this dispensation, in this generation, for a time as this, for a particular reason. That you cannot just sleep and say, you know what, I'm here to just eat and grow, or I'm just here to do small things. No. That is the limitations that you have inherited from other people by looking at yourself small. So you are not random. Great men and great women are born in the time where they are needed the most. Great men and great women are born in the time where they are needed the most. So now, this is your dispensation. I want you to not just fit in, but to stand out and know, this is when I was supposed to be born. This is where I was supposed to be born, and for a particular reason, so that I can find my purpose and practice that purpose. So you are not random, you are a necessity. And then your creator knew your contribution. Yeah? You know, sometimes we have stumbled upon things. Let me just give an example of Flavia. We have stumbled upon things where you stumble into oils. You didn't know about oils all your life. Like, you were not even this luxurious person that used to love smelling things. It's like an African who is given flowers. And then you're, about what would we be smelling? Because sometimes there is nothing to smell. You know? They give you a rose and you're like, because it's the normal thing to do. But half the time, there is nothing. Actually, they didn't even perfume it. Because the roses where it's like, there is usually that perfume and even some scents. These days, the roses that they grow, but they grow them where? They don't have any sense. Like, they don't have any sense. Those original roses, they used to have that subtle, nice, sweet, you know, that would linger. But these days, nothing. It's like plastic. And you take it. So now, just imagine, Flavia didn't know anything about oils and scents. And all of a sudden, maybe someone in her world, because God orchestrates things in a perfect design. He puts people in your way so that your eyes will be opened to certain things. So where you are is not a coincidence. What you are putting on is not a coincidence. Where you went to school is not a coincidence. Where you are currently staying is not coincidence. Who you got married to is not coincidence. So you realize that in the grand scheme of creation, God perfectly designed and orchestrated each one of us. So now, Flavia bumped into oils. And all of a sudden, she's into wellness. She is immersing herself in there. She can't sleep. She's thinking, what course? What can I bring to people? How can I sell this? How can I help them with their stress? How can I help them with this? God just got his burden and said, let me give you a little bit of this burden and throw it. And then I position destiny helpers that are going to help you see a world that is better than yours. Some of us, we grew up in a world that we didn't have any business of knowing even Kampala, what Kampala looked like. Like, seriously. Some of you, if you think about yourself, the way that brought you to Kampala, like by coincidence, you found yourself in Kampala. And you're here, you're like, sidda yo muchalo, sidda muchalo. But there was a destiny helper. For some people, there are some pastors who used to say that, oh, nze najira ku Lore. Like, yeah, Lore ali destiny helper. Yeah. It brought you to where you were supposed to come. Okay? So I don't want you to look at yourself, because I know that as we are in a group, there is that heat, okay? And the momentum. When you are alone, you feel like a lost sheep. An isolated ant. There's you're busy building the anthill, you're building the anthill. It feels nice because you're singing song, you're together, you know, it seems like there is warmth. But when you are isolated, then you start doubting yourself. Am I really called to do this? Am I really making sense? Have you ever asked yourself, am I making sense? You know? Yeah, sometimes you post a post and you're like, but is it even doing anything? Like, am I contributing anything? Or I am also just there to fill the internet? Like, you know, everyone else is putting up. But there is someone that is stuck on you. All their lives, all they are thinking about it, did she post? They even come and search for you, your names. And they search, and they remember, sometimes someone maybe saw your content once, and all of a sudden they forgot your name, but they remember the picture. Now they're busy scrolling. They're like, God, I hope I can bump into this picture because I remember she had brown hair, and they're looking for brown hair. You've never done that. I think you've ever done that. Maybe you remember the handle, but you remember only the first 3 letters, ANA. And now you're searching ANA, but nothing is coming through. Why? You were blessed by someone. And maybe when they were putting it up, they thought they are going through the motions. It's not that important. But I need you to know that you are important, okay? And then God knew the contribution that you will give to earth, and that is how he designed your temperament. Have you ever known the reason as to why we are different? Your temperaments. Like someone tells you that, oh, you're so outgoing, and they say it in a weird way, not knowing that your assignment requires that. And someone says, oh, but you're so introverted, not knowing that God created you a full package, and he knew that your assignment required that you will be an introvert. Because there are people that will only understand a fellow introvert. When you're outgoing, they will say, but for you, that is easy for you to say because you're everywhere doing everything. But once they know you're also an introvert, you're like, guys, there is someone actually who must be 2 cohorts ago, who decided to be an introvert coach. And, by the way, she has helped people in their businesses. It's like, I know you're an introvert. I know this doesn't come easy for you, but let me break it down for you so that you can understand it, because how an outgoing person understands things is not how an introvert understands things. You tell an introvert to go out, to be consistent, to show up, they're only seeing stars. You tell an outgoing person, half the time they're dancing in front of the camera. Sometimes I ask myself whether Joy is an introvert or an extroverted. Because, sorry, extrovert, like, must be a straight extrovert. Because the dances, the what, and you're thinking here, her assignment required that. That is where you can never copy and paste. Your contribution does not have that in the package. Some of you are soft-spoken and you're admiring people that are fast speakers and are loud speakers. Let me tell you, I'll be speaking in an audience or congregation of 1,000 people or plus, and the microphone goes off, and I will continue speaking, and they will all hear me. God knew that my assignment required that. But there are people that even if you try to raise to 1/4 of my voice, you will go hoarse. So God knew that you're supposed to be in the soft era. Yeah, in the soft era. Let everything be done for me. You know, I need a microphone. I just need to say hello. And everyone will be like, hello. You know? And you will speak these days, by the way. You people speak small things and people understand. They just catch on very quickly. In my generation, we speak too many things for people to understand. So God knew in which generation and what temperaments you needed to have, what attitudes you needed to have. Okay? He knew what kind of attitude you needed to have. I know some of you have adopted, by the way, attitudes out of your depression or out of the situations that you have gone through. And so all of a sudden you're saying, I'm an introvert, but you know it, that when you are alone, you are climbing ceilings. And you're somersaulting. So now, a time has to come when you align yourself and you're like, you know what? I have to come into the true sense of myself. It's possible that other people will be like, but we don't know her for that, but that is you. Now bring it out. If you know that you are not introverted, and for the longest time you have lied to yourself you're introverted, release yourself from the shackles. Yeah, that can even be a prayer point. And you're like, God, I do not want to be covered. I want to be out there babbling, living, happy, the way I am supposed to be. Because if you're an introvert, you're satisfied by being an introvert. So your gifts were supposed to accomplish something. They're supposed to accomplish an assignment. Your identity is exactly what it is supposed to be. Okay? And I don't want you to change yourself. Not for anything. Do you know that if you change yourself, if you do something that is not in alignment, you will feel it. You will feel it, that this is not just in alignment. I saw someone do it and I thought it was good to do it. Or I saw someone do it and they were trending, and so I also wanted to trend. Okay? But you will know that, by the way, no, that is just not me. All right? So I need you to stop allowing people who don't know your function. And I want you to listen to me very carefully. Who don't know your function to judge you or to judge your form or your capabilities or your temperaments. Because we have let so many people speak and we have been so demoralized because someone has spoken. You remember when Coach Joan told us that someone said, but this one has become a celeb, that now she can't even stand in prayer. You know, and all of a sudden people are starting to cocoon you. They don't know your function. They don't know your function. So they shouldn't judge your temperament, your identity, your attitude, your form. Because they don't know what you were made. You can't criticize how I was made. Right? Because you don't know what I was made for. You can't criticize how I was made because you don't know what I was made for. I was made speaking the way that I speak for a particular reason. I was made to be, do you know people who are planners? Like to the dot, so detailed. They are not, and those, by the way, most especially, do you know that God is so is so wise that some of these temperaments are aligned to blood groups? They are. If you're blood group B, you are a super planner. Like you love planning and detailing things. Blood group O, on the other side. We are always dodging bullets. We are always procrastinating. We want where chaos is. Like if you see chaos, you see someone burning a tire and you're like, I wish I was the one throwing that fire. And by the way, we suffer a lot, even when it comes to political things. Like, we don't run away from bullets, we run towards bullets. You're in the car, but you feel like, I wish I was in that street. I wish I was also, doing something. Most of the activists are blood group O. They're always the frontliners. For them, they don't need to plan a lot. Yes. And by the way, for some countries, they even discovered the secret and decided in the army, they recruit according to blood groups. So blood group B, if you come and you're blood group B, they put you in strategy, planning, chambers. Blood group O, frontline. Like seriously, because they discovered that the different temperaments and the different capabilities are supposed to be in different spaces. Do you know that sometimes we even suffer in marriages because we have married people that have different temperaments? Your blood group O, for you are off the hook. If they tell you at midnight, we are going for a vacation, dress up, let me tell you, you don't need 2 seconds to dress up. You tell me, Chikubidewa, I don't need 2 seconds. I will be like, I will put on makeup in the car. I will, you have not told me, I don't have any prior arrangements. Like, you just woke up at midnight and told me, we are going. I will not even ask where. I will say, let's go. Now, just imagine now, a blood group O is married to a blood group B. A blood group B, if you're a wife, you want people to alert you 2 weeks prior to the appointment. Like in 2 weeks' time, we will go or we will hang out or we will have a date. If you dare tell them 2 days to or 1 day to or even that day, they will tell you, I am not ready. You should have told me like 2 weeks ago so that in my mind I know it, you know, and I plan for it, because they like planned things. And now all of a sudden, everyone is feeling bored. For you, you don't feel respected because you were not given time to plan. And then this one feels disappointed because then we can't be spontaneous. Yeah? And you start having issues. I've counseled so many marrieds that are going through the same thing. And I will tell you, it is hard to reconcile. You just have to make them see the differences in their temperament so that they can appreciate them, so that they can be able to work together. Okay? So you cannot criticize how I was made if you don't know what I was made for. All right? And I don't want you to apologize for how you were made, because that is insulting your maker. Do not apologize how you were made. Have you ever been done something and then when you go back and you're alone, you feel like, oh, why did I go overboard? Have you ever? Oh, why did I go overboard? Oh, I shared a lot. Sharing. And like that's you in that moment, you came alive. Okay? You can't hold yourself and apologize and say, I am so sorry, I overshared. You will even be collaborating the other people that you overshared to. Because now they'll be like, what did she say again? We didn't take it serious, but it seems it was serious. Okay? No, don't apologize. You danced a lot, so what? Dance. Okay? For as long as what you did is not jeopardizing anyone's life, go ahead and live your life. So I don't want you to cocoon yourself, because the moment you start apologizing, the next time you don't want to do what you apologized for, and so you're not doing anything. All right? You have been made for a purpose and a mission. I want us to very briefly read something that should be Psalms. Yeah, Psalms. I will come back to what we read, but that is Psalms 139:14. It says that, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that fully well. All right? I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Like for a particular purpose. Just like a certain jerrycan will be made a certain way, a certain cover will be made a certain way, a certain saucepan will be made a certain way, that what you cook in a frying pan, you cannot cook in a saucepan. So now just imagine, for you, you're a frying pan, but every time you're apologizing, I am so sorry because I am shallow. You cannot cook in me. I am so sorry because whenever you cook in me, food pours. I am so sorry. You're apologizing. You're like, no, you should know that I am supposed to fry eggs. I am supposed to cook soft era foods. I am not supposed to cook deep things. Okay? Yeah. It's like apologizing that you are an oven and you cannot do frying. That you get it. Everything has its function. An air fryer has its function. So you can't apologize and say, I am sorry, I don't have a place for you to put oil. That means you have also not discovered who you really are. The day you discover your purpose is the day you stop apologizing and you start appreciating and tell God that I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. The way I am, I don't need anything else. Some of you want to edit yourself. The day I learn to speak like so-and-so, you don't need to learn to speak like so-and-so. No, you don't. Do we need to improve in life? We need to improve. Do we need to evolve? We need to evolve. But we do not need to copy or become anyone else. Not your mother, not your father, not your mentor, not anyone. You're supposed to develop fully into yourself. Your work, your purpose is splendid. It is amazing. And I just felt the need to encourage and stress this because so many of us are battling with a lot in our minds. And I don't want us to keep battling and battling, because the moment we keep battling, I'm laying a foundation even for content creation. The moment you know that this is who I am. You remember how Joy told us last time, if you find that written content is where you flourish. So do you realize there are people that are so good at writing, And there are people that are just so good at speaking. And so if you find that this is where I thrive the most, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try all the other types. But make sure that you emphasize where you thrive the most, because that is when you show up most authentic. And then you are thankful. You're like, you know what? I am so, ever since I bumped into that I can write and I can flourish in writing. I told you of a coach who came and wanted to be a coach, and she ended up being in publishing. Coach Filson. The moment I talked about writing, she was like, so coach, I can actually be a writer, like I can do this full time. I was like, yes, you can do this full time. I don't know how many books she has published. She has a publishing company. She proofreads books, she ghostwrites for people, and she has ghostwritten for so many people, prominent people in our country. But ever since she discovered that, do you know that you can have a gift and you don't know that it's a gift? Well, because you keep writing. Some of you have 1,000 notebooks. You keep writing, you're writing, but it can never occur to you that that is actually a gift that you need to be able to dig deeper and understand, all right? So, when you find it, the purpose for which you were created, everything changes. Your purpose elevates the quality of your life. The possessions that we have in the world, you know, sometimes we think having money and having cars and having houses, all those are good. They just change your standard of living. But when it comes to purpose, it elevates the quality of your living. You begin living quality life. You even feel it. When you start living quality life, you feel it. You're not chasing up petty things. You're chasing impact. You want people to be helped. You want people to be served. You want your business to thrive. You're minding your business. The quality of your life has changed because you have something to focus on. But the people that have not found their purpose, they're looking for everything. You will look for a man. You will look for, like, everything else outside of purpose to fulfill you. And guess what? It will never fulfill you because there is a reason as to why you were created. All right? And then your purpose is supposed to be expressed. And that is what takes me back to the first chapter, that the first verse that we read. Up until today, I had never looked at the fact that David fought Goliath in a particular place, and it was stipulated. I don't know, for some of you that actually read, you saw where it was, where the fighting took place. And they stipulated and said that it was in this valley. It was so. This is what I actually got when I was asking God, okay, this purpose thing, some people have found their purpose. Some of them are on the journey to finding their purpose. Some of them don't even know what their purpose is. And I had it categorically clear that your purpose is supposed to be positioned somewhere. And that somewhere is out there in the marketplace where the dying world is. And the reason as to why I read about Goliath and all the measurements is because the depression that is killing people. I told you about how I was preaching last Tuesday. And I just mentioned it randomly. I felt it on my heart. And I mentioned it that, you know what? One of you here, you came to this conference, but after buying poison. And because your friends were interested in coming to the conference, you wanted to please them, so you came to the conference. But you promised yourself that when you go back like this, you're going to take your poison. And so I prayed. After that, this person came to me. And I was like, I don't know, but I don't know whether it's me alone, but I bought poison. And when I asked her the reason is the last man that she dated 2 months ago broke her heart after she has had a broken heart for the past 15 years. She has 5 children, and so she just wanted to end her life and say maybe her children will be better off because she's constantly crying, and the man chucked her, and now she feels worthless. So you see, when the explanation happens that Goliath had all these things, that do you know that people are depressed and they are being taken away from people? They are being taken away from congregations. They cannot see you. They cannot hear you. They cannot, and so we must be able to go there. The people that do school ministries or school outreaches, do you know the number of children that you reach? The number of children that could have committed suicide. The number of children that say, my stepfather is actually using me every night. Yes. And the principals, there is a school we went to, I will not mention a name, and the principal said she resigned out of the session. I was like, we don't have students here. I think we have mature people in this school. Because these are not students' problems. Some of them have STDs from their fathers. And someone says there's a boda boda man that brings me every day, but he's my boyfriend. Yes. And some of them would even point to teachers. It's like, you know what, I'm in love with this teacher, but it seems like this teacher loved me for one term, and the next time he started loving another person. And now she is dying. She has lost weight, and she cannot read, and she's telling you, I'm going to fail my senior 4, and all because of a teacher. And the parent is out there, and the parents don't have time for their children. Because when I asked her, does your mother even know about this? It's like, my mother doesn't know. She leaves whenever we are in holidays. She leaves at 5 in the morning, and she comes back when we are sleeping. So I never have time with her. The only person that I talked to was my neighbor. And my neighbor told me to keep getting money from that teacher. And told me to threaten the teacher that if he doesn't want me to report him, he should keep giving me money. So the teacher has been giving me money. The neighbor advised her. The parent does not have time. She's at school and she's expected to pass. So do you see the explanation of the Goliaths, the things that we are coming against in the world? The things that we are fighting against are not just physical, they are deeper. People are people are just taking their lives. People are frustrated. Businesses are dying. Marriages are dying. Children are giving up on themselves at a very early age, at 12 years old. People are giving up on their lives. But they have an address. They have a place where we must be able to be positioned out there. We must not just say, you know what, let me just say where I am. Let me just, I have social media. Yes, you have social media. I told you we deal with real people with real problems. So where are you going to find real people and real problems? Out there. And the first practice, the first way you're going to even know how to help people is by listening to these things raw as they are, painful as they are. Internalize them, spend sleepless nights, and look for the solutions. The next person you will help them better, and the next person you will help them better, and the other person you will help them better. Why? Because you exposed yourself. I don't want you to hide yourself and just hide yourself in too much English. No. The people that you need to help, some of them speak Luganda, some of them speak Lusoga, some of them speak Runyankore, some of them speak, yes. We will be here cocooning ourselves to only the elites. Kumbe, we have people that are waiting for us out there. We are cocooning ourselves in churches, you know. And let me tell you, the reason as to why so many people in churches are actually playing politics is because they don't know their purpose. If they knew their purpose, they would know that their purpose is not for the four walls of church. Their purpose is out there to help people. So everyone will be out there to help, not claiming, oh, I want the front seat. If you know your purpose, you don't want a front seat. You will be purposeful even when you are standing, even when you are serving, even when you're not even seen in church. You know, call me Bishop so-and-so. No, we don't have to call you Bishop so-and-so. If you know your purpose, you will actually want to be the least person. Because you will be meek and humble. You will be humbled by the problems people are carrying. They will take you in prayer even when you're not a prayerful person. They will make you make a prayer board. They will make you fast. They will make you, because they will make you research in the middle of the night. You are sleeping in your own nice bed, cozy, with a very good husband, but you're thinking about someone that is out there, strangling themselves. And you're saying, let me read one more chapter. You can never know. Maybe I'll find language for this, because we must find language for people's problems. But we are here in churches putting on high waists and high heels and looking all cute because we are serving on the altar. No, serving on the altar is good, but it is not your purpose. There are people that also have that purpose, right? So we are not all going to fight for the podium. No, create your own podium. What you are supposed to be doing and where you are supposed to be doing it. I want you to be able to be very crystal clear. Ask God, what am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be doing it? What am I supposed to be doing? And where am I supposed to be doing it? Those are two different things. We usually like the first part, what am I supposed to be doing? So we find what we are supposed to be doing. And then we start, you know, out there. I've been a church girl all my life. All my life. But I will tell you, serving in church or even having a name is nowhere, anywhere close to me. My main calling and purpose is unto the people that are out there in the marketplace. That is my calling. So, in church, I was equipped. I was taught how to pray. I was fed. I learned how to deal with people's problems. I learned how to take problems to God in prayer. So I was nurtured and equipped, but I was not equipped for church. I was equipped for the marketplace. I was equipped for the streets. Okay? Let's stop feeling so important. No, let's be servants in the real sense of servanthood. And that's going to have so many benefits to us. I want us to just skip, because I have so many things that I wrote here, but I want us to go to the very last. I want to give us 3 things. But before I give us the 3 points that I want us to conclude with, you all know that we are positioned in different spheres. Some of you are positioned in religion, right? That is where you're going to thrive. If you ask where, you ask what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to do it from. Some of you are positioned in the religion. And that is where you're in church, you're in the mosque, you're in the religious sector. So go ahead and make sure that your street is actually very, very powerful. When we look at Goliath, where in that valley where they fought, I think you remember where it said that the Philistines occupied one hill and the Israelites fought on another hill. And there was a valley between. Now, that valley was actually a shortcut for so many people that used to take their merchandise between the borders. Okay? So it was a street, like it was a place of business. People were actually thriving and building businesses in that place. And that is the same place where the fighting was. Now, for most of us, our fighting is going to happen in the religious street. Some of us in the family street. We have people that are in the family street. Like, seriously, you are going to help people to not only be better, but to raise their children better. You're going to help people to make sober decisions when it comes to their marriages. You're going to help people to choose better partners. You're going to help people to know how to honor their partners. You're going to help people to know how to build marriages that actually honor God and glorify God. You are in the family sector, okay, in the family street. So all of us are somewhere. Some of us are in the education street. You're a coach, you're a teacher, you're a mentor. And you are teaching people how to live better lives, how to live, to grow their businesses, how to motivate themselves, okay? So you are in the education street. Some of us are in the wellness street, okay? Wellness is everything. Let me tell you, for everything that you're going to do, it is going to require your body. Everything that you will ever do on this earth, it is going to require your body. So that means if your body is stressed, if your body is tensed, if your body is sick, there is no fulfillment of purpose. How are you going to fulfill purpose? No, just imagine if I woke up one day and I can't speak. How am I going to? Maybe I will find alternative ways of fulfilling my purpose, but this was the easiest way of me fulfilling my purpose. So that means when they tell me, you need to rest your vocal cords, I will rest my vocal cords. You need to take a vacation, I will take that vacation. You need to, I will do anything, a massage, a what, to make sure that my body, to do exercises, to take water, to sleep a certain amount of time, because my body is my biggest asset in this service and in this purpose journey. All right? So that's how you just don't say, but for me, I watch movies until 4 a.m. And then you speak with a lot of pride. That is nothing to be proud of. That means you have what? What is it called? Insomnia? Sometimes the English is also becoming too much. That is a sickness. You should be saying, how do I sleep better? How do I sleep better? You need to sleep like a baby. Like a baby. Because you need to go into the day fresh. How are you going to help him? Just imagine you had a stressful night and now you're waking up to seeing clients or to helping people. You're looking at them and you're also dozing. They are telling you, yes. I have seen counselors that have told me that they dozed off in a session. And I was like, okay, so how did you help this person? That God helps you and you connect things. When you wake up like this, you connect 1 + 1 and you're like, because in therapy, Sometimes you're supposed to repeat what the person has told you so that you can so that they can understand that you have understood, or they can confirm that you have understood the issue. So how are you going to repeat or to re-emphasize this point without even getting the point? So that means you're going to use your head knowledge. You're going to say, you said omusajja akutawanya. You're going to say omukazi akufukidde ekizibu. And now you're going to give your own solution. You're not going to move the journey with them. In order to move the journey with people, to hold their hands, you must be very sober. So wellness is very important. Arts and media. That is where the dispatch of information is happening. You know, media personalities, influencers, TVs, all the traditional media. You know, you can be a presenter and people are hooked to every word that you speak. And that is their own solace. People got tired of sharing their problems with people that know them. And now they find a presenter who is speaking sense. They will call you and they will even pay money to come and meet you and be able to get a solution to their problems. So I need you to take it very seriously. Some people are in government and that is their street, okay? So placement is very important. Business, some people are in business and that is a very big street, very big street. So invade those spaces. If you're writing anything, I need you to write, invade those spaces. Where you practice this, where you do this matters. Just like what you do matters, where you do it from matters. So invade those spaces. You were born for the streets. All right? Born for the streets, get out there. And number one, I want us to write down, own your street. Stop apologizing for staying for staying on that street, for being on that street. Own your street. Stop admiring other streets and comparing like but the people in media, they are getting a lot of buyinja. People know them, you know, they're everywhere. Let me tell you, someone can be in media and they misuse that mountain and they misuse that street. And this is what happens. You leave media for 1 week, 2 weeks. Everyone has forgotten about you. Traditional media. You've been on TV for 10 years. You get out of TV for 2 months, for 2 weeks. People have already forgotten. The other time you were their celebrity, now all of a sudden, I wonder where she went. I wonder where he went. I wonder what he's doing now. And let me tell you, another person will come and they will grab onto them. So people take what is available. Some of us think, oh, we are too good, people will wait for us. They are not going to wait for you. You know, some people will wait until I manifest. We don't have time to wait until you manifest. We are going to consume other people. We are going to love on them. We are going to be helped by them. Okay? No, we don't. You're delaying us. And some of us, you give us kokonyo. You give us something small, and all of a sudden, you disappear. Problems of the world. And all of a sudden, you're like, but you know, they loved me so much. I used to trend. When I come back here, I will trend. Hey, there are people that are younger, hotter, prettier, wiser. No, God is not mad. When he created you and gave you the capabilities, it didn't mean that you are the alpha and the omega of the capabilities. No. He can actually say, this person has taken long to accept who they are or to come into themselves, or they're still fighting with their own insecurities. They have just refused to accept that this is their calling on their lives or their purpose. And let me tell you, do you know that God can borrow callings? He can get the grace that is upon you and for a moment give it to another person to fulfill that task. And that person will fulfill that task, help the people that they need to be able to help, and that grace will, they will go back into their former functioning, into their own gifts. But in that moment, God wanted to do something, but it had to be done in that window with the people that were present. And so, if there was anyone that was fumbling, for example, they tell you, oh, you come, you're supposed to do this, and you're like, but may I fear people? May I do what? Do something, and they will go back into their normal functioning. That is why some people are like, I have never had that. I've never done that before. I have never done that before. But you availed yourself, and God looks at your heart. The moment you open your heart and you're like, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to say, but speak it through me. Here I am. When you get that microphone, do you know that there are instances where speakers, something has taken over and they're not the ones speaking. For those of you that have spoken in public and to big audiences, I need you to affirm this, to confirm this. Have you ever spoken and you prepared something and it came out totally different and like something took over? You can't even tell in the middle there what you spoke. And then after that you watch your own video and like, I said this. Like it is too good to be true and it came out a proper way. And so you're also a fan for yourself. You also like your own video, like, you're like, if I could like it 1,000 times, I would have liked it 1,000. But you go back and watch it again, and then they give you to speak some other time, and you tremble, and you're like, will I be able to speak like last time? So what I decided to let God do is, when you need to zone me out, because my understanding is too much on me, zone me out. Do your will, and then bring me back when I don't understand what I have said in the last. But because God knows what the people that are in the congregation and what they need. So for you, you came with your knowledge. You prepared, yes, thank you very much. But can you let God, the one that gave you that purpose, do his will in your life, okay? So I need you to just own your street. Own it. Walk in it like it is your own street. Vimba, you know? Be there, be available on your own street. Number 2, improve your street. God didn't put you there to have it stay the same, the way it was. For example, marriage. You appear on a marriage scene and marriage is the same. Then what are you doing? You appear on the business scene and it's business as usual. No! You're supposed to frustrate katabanguko. You're supposed to mix up things. I was looking at this Nigerian guy that does comedy. I don't remember his name. Now, that is how, by the way, brands, sometimes they outperform their names. I don't know his name. I actually don't know his name. Sorry? Not Basket Mouth. He came to Uganda, flew all the way from Nigeria, came to Uganda. He dresses like a mad person. And he goes, he actually gets gigs to even, promote businesses. So, yeah, he must be the one. How many comedians do you have in Uganda that we even don't know about, that have never made us laugh, genuinely? Even when other people laugh, you'll be thinking, what are they laughing about? Because that has not hit home. What is that guy doing? He went all in. Do you remember when we talked about 98% versus 2%? The people in 98% are figuring themselves out. They're like, oh, I still want to be seen as a decent person. Oh, I still want to be seen as a Christian. Oh, I still want to be seen. There is no fulfillment in staying in the mediocrity. There is no fulfillment. Your fulfillment is in the extremes. Contribute like you are going to die tomorrow, like your contribution is going to end today. Let your contribution be that. Let it interrupt people's minds. I like it when I look at social media and I have a few people bashing me. I'm like, bring it on. That means it hit home. That means it stirred up something. If you got angry, clearly, yeah, there's something that it did. But if I was the one that, now, okay, if you have a person, okay, you're in marriage, you're supposed to love and forgive. You're supposed to kuguma, and you're just supposed to be there. Just pray to God. Everything is fine. No. I tell you, you pray while you practice common sense. God did not give it to you for foie. He gave it to you that you will use it. A brain, a fully functioning brain that has matured, that has seen days. And you don't want to put it to use? And I'm like, it's okay. Hate me. When you say, oh, she's the one, she's encouraging people to leave their marriages. No. If I were not in a marriage, you would have said that because she's single, then she doesn't want people. No, I'm in a happy marriage, and I know happy marriages exist. But again, I know there are marriages that are made in hell. And those ones must be squashed. Yeah. You must be able to disorganize a few things, to rearrange. And you're like, because if I keep accepting this and accepting this and accepting, there will not be change, okay? So now, there is a stop to this. And so, some people wake up, some people don't wake up. Just like I said, some things will fall in place, and some people will fall out of alignment. When they fall out of alignment, you don't need closure. Keep moving. Someone said, So improve your street. Whatever street you belong to, wellness. Don't speak what people are anticipating for you to speak. You know, when you touch here and the stress, and no. Tell them some of you are stressed because you have never had sex and you are in this sexless marriage for a full year. Your body is tensed and you know you're just a moving wood like this. That is how people notice you. That is how people know that you're a problem solver. You're not here for feel-good purposes. That you know now when you take this and when you take this, then you will feel better. Let me touch where your wound is and tell you why you are stressed. Some of you, you're stressing yourself. No one is actually stressing you. It is self-inflicted stress. Can we talk about self-inflicted stress? And then you start giving them signs that stress is not coming from anywhere else, from you. You are busy procrastinating. There are things you're supposed to do. You're not doing them. And then all of a sudden, but this shoulder, but this ear, I feel pain. Simanya, I feel constant. Simanya, headache. Simanya, I can't sleep well. Can you do what you're supposed to do in the time that you're supposed to do it? You know the business must grow, but you're there. You're peeping into others' businesses, and then you're looking at yours. And then you know what to do. You're not doing it. Can you do what you know you have to do? Can you think about your thoughts? Some of you just let your random thoughts flow like that. From TikTok to Instagram. You see all sorts of things. So-and-so said something, no chibaka. So-and-so said something, no chikolachi. Is your mind a dustbin? If it is not, can you empty it? Declutter it? Can I speak like that and you miss my point? No. Can you miss my point that I'm your therapist when it comes to stressful things? That you need to buy stuff from me so that you can rearrange your brain and just calm down? Some people even get sick for just relaxing. It makes them sick. Hey. Because then they feel like they're missing out on activity. They must be somewhere doing something. Remember, I told you from the prayer request that some of us are praying for strength and misusing strength. And then God gives you strength, and the moment you get it, where Papa, like the heroes get their strength, the moment you get it, and then you start running after all the useless things. And he's saying sometimes just lie on the couch, raise your legs, twinkle your fingers like this, put on a nice candle and nice music, and just look at the ceiling. Some of you, because we are in a fast-paced world, even just looking at the ceiling is wasting time. But guess what? Scrolling is activity. It is feeding into the fast world, the fast-paced world. We want to be... Have you ever seen children? You give them your tab and it has slow cartoons. They don't like slow cartoons. They want things, and now social media has learned, they have to give you 1,000 pictures in one go. So your brain is... So now, you sitting across the table at a cozy dinner table with your partner is a wastage of time. How dare he? As in, I have Instagram, I have all these things that they are coming in, I want to peep, but again it will look disrespectful. Some of you even have said, let me just go to the washroom, and then you have taken your phone. You go and sit and scroll for a full hour. You even don't know that an hour has gone. And then you smartly come out and come back and sit on the table. Now, if it's a first date, someone is thinking, a whole hour in the toilet? What was someone doing? Okay, so improve your street. Bring your excellence. Shine. Number 3, evangelize your street. Be a witness. Let your life speak before your lips speak. Evangelize. Whether it's a business, let people look at you what you do, what you embody, who you are, the message that you send, instead of saying, but you people, you must be in happy marriages. Have you seen people who say happy marriages when they're doing contrary? Yeah. There are people who are giving business knowledge, but when they don't have any business. Yeah? So, by evangelizing, it is an embodiment. Can we see from your life? Be a written episode. Let us read from you. If you indeed say, purpose works, if you indeed say, God is a good God, can it be written all over you? Can we see it? Instead of saying, but you people, now you come, people don't need to come to church. They should see you and then they should be drawn, right? It's like, that is what influencer marketing does. That when you put on something and someone is like, but where did you get that two-piece? It's because you have embodied it and now someone wants to. So you're evangelizing what your beliefs are. So you're influencing. So evangelizing is more of influencing. What do you want people to do? Make sure that you do it. Make sure that your life speaks so loud out of that. Okay? Let your gifts be seen. Some of us have fought with significance for so long, and I want us to wrap up this. Those three things that I have talked about. Own your street. Improve your street. Number 3, evangelize your street. I want us to take them so seriously, even as we get into content creation. I want you to take them so seriously that this is about owning. This is about not second-guessing myself. Because when you second-guess yourself, you're not owning. A person that owns, even when they walk into a place, people feel them, right? People feel them. When someone talks about, let me say, when someone talks about content and they are owning that field, clearly you can see that they are owning that field. So it's not about second guessing. Do every one of us second guess? Even me, I second guess myself sometimes on certain things. But again, sometimes it's about saying, you know what? Behind me, get behind me, devil. I am showing up like the queen that I am. Everything else will come later. We will revisit later. But own it and show up for it. People are waiting, guys. People are waiting. Whatever you have gone through, whatever people are going through, they are waiting for your manifestation. But they don't want you to manifest in your weakness. They don't want you to manifest in your self-sabotage. They don't want you to manifest in your doubts and insecurities. They want you to manifest, and when they look at you, they can see clearly a person that is going to help them. And they can know, by the way, people know who is going to help them. Why do you think there are so many counselors? Some of them are booked and some have never been booked. People know who can help them and who cannot help them. So you can never lie to people. Yes, they are sick, but they understand. Yes, they have problems, but they have brains. Yes, they can tell where to go for help. And they can tell where to pay money. If you don't deserve to be paid, they also know that this person doesn't deserve to be paid. According to how you position yourself. That is the ownership that I'm talking about. Own that street. I love you guys.